Hello everyone. I just wanted to quickly share with you the drone data that we collected last week, that Lidar data, and show you a few things that I've been finding out and how I've been using that data, and also kind of show you that you can play around with it yourself. This program is QGIS or QGIS. It's an open source free software, and you can drag these files in, which I'll share the link to a Google Drive folder. So this is what it looks like. It kind of looks like an image, but as you zoom in, you realize that, oh, it's not pixelated. Each individual point has a color value associated with it, so it gives you the illusion of a picture, but in reality, there's actually quite a bit of space in between each point, right? So that's really cool that each value has a point and has kind of a three-dimensional place position on this in this little map here. So if we go to the right-hand screen in layer styling, instead of red, blue, green, we could choose attribute, and then below it says you have all these different attributes, and we're going to use the Z value, and that essentially is the elevation value, right? And we can see that the green blue here is the lower elevation of the valley floor, and the red at the top is kind of the the higher elevations in the surrounding hills. As you zoom in, right, you can see that, oh, here's the houses, here's the tree, and the top of the tree is of course red. It's one of the higher points. This is very helpful for us as we plan subsequent missions, because we can tell exactly how high that tree is, right? The highest point is 186 meters, right, above sea level. Okay, cool. So with that being said, but that's not the best part. This is just in 2D, so let's put this in 3D, right? That's what I've been waiting for. We can go to View and go 3D Maps, and we can create a new 3D map view, and this is what it looks like. But let's actually dock that map, and I'm going to drag it and put it inside. Now this map, if you depress the wheel on the mouse, come on, let's do it. It moves. Come on. There we go. It can move, and I'm really not good at this yet. There we go. Oh, come on. Just what I want it to move. What's wrong? Okay, that's that direction. Yeah, I'm not good at moving this around. There we go. Maybe I have to be over here. What do I have to do? I'm still getting used to QGIS has only had this option for about 1.5 years, and I think they're still working out the bugs, right? So it's not as slick as it could be, right? But it's getting there. Cool. So there is our area we've been working. There's that large tree we've been under, and then as you go up the valley, right, you can see all that foliage. The power, as we've been saying, the power of LiDAR is to be able to kind of remove all that cover to see the ground floor. That's kind of what we're after. So let's do that. Instead of attribute by ramp or RGB, we can actually classify this, right? So we classify it, and right now we've actually classified it in only 3 different types. We have buildings. You can see the red is our little buildings, right? And you can kind of see, can you see that? Oh, come on. Oh yeah, you can kind of see that there's a little tree right there. Oh, I am just struggling with this, right? You can clearly see that there's some trees there, right, around. So brutal. I'm not doing this very. There's the tree. That's what I want to show. Now, if we actually can remove the unclassified, boom, all those trees are gone, and now we have this really nice surface model of that valley, right? And that's looking west, well, south, up that valley. Cool. And then you have the little buildings, and from that we can interpolate and fill in the gaps, because where there's white, essentially there's gaps in the points, right? There's gaps. We can interpolate those values and kind of predict what that elevation would be. So what does that look like? So I've created what's called a DEM, a digital elevation model. And let's go back to our points here, and let's drop the DEM in. Boom. There's our digital elevation model. It doesn't look great. It kind of looks like this just gray, lungy kind of thing, right? However, if we select it over here, DEM, single gray, we can also do a single banded pseudo color, and then it begins to pop out, right? Again, this is, we're going to invert the ramp. So again, the lower values are the lower elevations, and the red are the upper elevations. You can clearly kind of see the stream channel cutting down through the valley, right? And then on the layers panel here, and it's exactly what that is, it's a layer. If we put this below that and maybe get rid of the ground, then we can begin to see where like the buildings were, right? Let's see, boom, yep. So you can begin to see that our classification of the points is showing us where the building footprints are. Kind of cool. Now, what do we do with this? Then we do some processing, we do some analysis. We go over to the processing toolbar here, and we can search for Hillshade. There we go. And we can choose our DEM, leave everything to standard. We can save it to a specific file if we want, GIS rasters, and we'll call it Hillshade. It should be a TIFF. I don't know why it's doing an SDAT file. That's very surprising to me. I'm going to save it as a point TIFF. See if that works. Save. And I'm going to run it. There we go. So now we have this really detailed hillshade of that DEM, right? Again, this makes that, right? And here you can barely see anything, but that hillshade pops. So you can see a very nice little trail that goes on one side of the valley. You can see that stream channel is much better defined. And you can also see the road going outward, right, toward the main part of the camp. And then you see another, it seems to be another trail right here, slight little crevice in the mountains, right? So that helps us better understand, can we identify any other features on the landscape that either human-made or naturally made, and can we associate those with different historic periods or different on a timeline from pre-colonial, colonial, contemporary, modern periods, right? What's going on with this landscape. So another thing that I've been doing with analysis is kind of fun. We can do a slope, right? Instead of the hillshade, use the DEM, and we can also save that to file, and we'll call this a slope.tiff, right? And save that. Let's run that. Cool. And so, yeah, again, it's in black and white. We select it. We go over to the layer styling here, and we'll do a single band pseudo color. And let's just invert that ramp again. And this is all about the relative steepness, right? The actual slope, the inclination of the surface. So that helps us kind of, again, kind of define that area that, it's pretty, that stream has nice steep banks, and so that steep banks indicates that they're nice and steep. The water itself is not so steep. You can see this area go. There's that pathway downward, right? But you can see it as another way of trying to visualize and identify things in the landscape. Other things that we might be able to make out that we can't see is we can see, this little area around here, but maybe in the slope we might be able to distinguish even other kinds of potential pathways, right? Potential pathways or areas of interest that, we might want to go out on the landscape and take a closer look and kind of ground truth them. Cool, everyone. Well, this has just been kind of a fun little session, taking a look at some of the possibilities here. Other things besides slope, we could do contour very quickly. Let's use contours. We'll use the DEM, the digital elevation model. Let's do I know this is in meters, so we'll do 3 meters, and we're going to save this also to it's a shape file. Oh, I already have a contours, but we're going to do a contour. We're going to do a 3 meter, right? And we're going to save that, check everything, and then we're going to run it. Cool. And now we have little contour lines, right? So just another way of trying to visualize this landscape that gives us information that we can start asking questions about, right? Really fun, really exciting. I hope this was useful, everyone. So please use the links to download the data. Go to the QGIS website. If you can, if we go to QGIS, and you can download this program and put in other kinds of data sets that Alex and others have been, like the total station data and other kinds of information, and put this in the map to visualize it better. Okay, everyone, just wanted to share that with you. Hope that was useful. Hope that was fun. Good luck out there at Hidden Villa. Cheers.